Final reflection on what we learned from ICAM's book. Let's think again about what we just went over together and sum it up in simpler terms. Mexico is the 12th wealthiest nation in the world, but the poor are very poor, and the Mexican government perpetuates this poverty of its citizens. Although it must be noted that the poverty conditions are better than they were 60 years ago. Mexico's economic model is not too different than the USA's or any other Western nation, though it is still distinct. Mexico is the USA's number one trade partner. Mexico has a pollution problem, but Mexican citizens are more aware and active about combating pollution than Americans are. Let's reflect and analyze a little bit on what Roderick Icamp did for us. Icamp's approach seems to have its wisdom in Icamp acknowledging that English language speakers and readers have assumptions, preconceived notions, and have internalized news stories that have stuck in the American mind when we hear the word Mexico. Icamp, knowing what we Americans have been exposed to, knows Americans have developed misassumptions, that we harbor baseless notions, and that Americans believe wholeheartedly in the misconceptions we have about Mexico. It is for the above reasons that ICAMP took up the most obvious questions about Mexico as an economy, because it is the foundation of our understanding about Mexico. So then we must ask ourselves, after acknowledging that we harbor skewed assumptions about Mexico, what is the deeper meaning behind seeing Mexico only in comparison to ourselves, and how can we improve and better our understanding of the human beings who are the same as us, even if they live in a differently constructed economy that is in a different period of its development? On the news in the USA, every aspect of Mexico is transmitted with non-verbal implications to Americans, so that Mexico is presented to us only in relative terms. That is to say, all things reported on the US news report that the US is economically better off than Mexico. What ICAM's book gives us is the most basic information and facts about Mexico's economy. And yes, for those that already know the above information, there is no change in the perception of Mexico. But for those of us who didn't already know what ICAM presents, the information can completely change how we perceive Mexico. Learning about what misinformation we believed previously will allow us Americans to reorient ourselves and understand Mexico on its own terms instead of how US media portrays Mexico to us. You can visit us on the web at latinoeconomist.com or on Twitter at Latin Economist.